And then there came a day like many others. The Best Flarking Podcast. Your nerd's eye view of TV, film, comics, and video games. With you as always, your mother flarking hosts, Dunners and Reach. Puny Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Best Flarking Podcast, the greatest podcast in all of the Omniverse, because that's the new word now. Greatest podcast in all the Omniverse. I'm Dunners to some, and always with me, rocking and rolling, is Reach. Reach, how you doing?
Doing very well. How are you doing?
Oh, man, I'm good. Lots of, little things this week. Lots of little things turning into, one big giant podcast. So where to begin is the real question. Where to begin? Also, just letting everyone know, the podcast is going to get microtransactions. Every third minute of the podcast, you will actually be given the option to pay $1 to drop our voices up or down an octave each. It's just one of those fun, inspiring features that we wanted to implement in our podcast after hearing that Destiny, that game that used to be shitty and is now really good, is going to be implementing so you can get different emotes. So when you point, you can point with your hand on your hip, or point when you dip, and then she'll dip, and then we'll dip.
But even on top of the emotes, we're getting free quests every few months until the fall of 2016 when we get Destiny 2.
The new expansion to Destiny, as they're calling it. So, microtransactions to the podcast incoming. So just be ready. Be ready for
that
it.
Kind of makes me a little upset again, though.
You weren't going to buy any emotes, and you weren't going to buy Sparrow skins.
No, not the emotes. Just the fact that spending money on the game to, buy it over again, and then free content for the rest of the year. So, people who hopped on for just the Taken King and never played year one get free shit for the rest of the year.
Yeah, but there's...
What do I get?
The thing, though, is you get the satisfaction of knowing the whole lore and being a part of the game through its...
The grimoire cards that I have to go onto Bungie.net to read.
I'm just saying that the amount of time that you played into it, did you get your 60 and then get your 30? Did you get all of your money's worth of fun and time that you spent playing it?
Probably.
You definitely got the time value. You played it enough.
Yes.
You played it enough to make it worth it. So in essence,
and to talk about it knowledgeably.
Yeah, exactly. So there.
Okay,
Reach.
We'll go with it. We'll roll with it.
So yeah, that's what's happening in Destiny. Apparently,
which I just put down before I hopped on here.
Nice, dude. I haven't played any today, but I'll be for surely playing again tonight, because I got a ton of reciprocal and stolen runes, and I gotta go get
to
it
the
done.
Court.
Gotta go to the Court of Oryx. Not really sounding like that much fun. At noon today, Ubisoft put up a live stream of a cave painting with a little flashing thing saying, "Exciting news coming." That ran for 5 hours today, and people were still looking at it with no idea what that was supposed to mean. But the announcement that is still forthcoming on that particular stream is that the next Far Cry is coming out, and it's going to be called Far Cry Primal, and it's going to be set in the Ice Age.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those off years, like when they put out Blood Dragon, or whatever the futuristic...
the 80s expansion.
Yeah, the 80s future one. So it looks like we're going to have another crazy expansion to the Far Cry universe, which I'm all for. The Far Cry games are always awesome. So
yep.
It never, ever ceases to be super badass in that realm.
Yeah, they suck you in, and you do not stop playing until it's over.
I gotta hunt every animal on the island so I can max out all of my ability to hold weapons and items.
That's the first thing you're upgrading, is the bag to hold more shit.
It's true.
It's so true.
As a PSA for all of our video game players who listen to this, if you play Minecraft and you like to smoke, don't fill up your dumb oil lighter while you're playing on your live stream, because nobody wants to watch you burn your house down. Just putting that out there for you guys. That goes to you, Japanese streamer Dasuke. who was taking a break from playing Minecraft to show off his brand new lighter that he had when he accidentally lit his house on fire and then live streamed his house burning down.
Damn.
You dumb idiot. So there, that guy's a dumb idiot.
That's amazing.
I got him. I freaking got him.
It should hurt to be stupid.
Well, I mean, that probably financially hurts at least a little bit. Keeping with video game news, holy shit, I didn't even realize Transformers Devastation is out today.
What is that? I don't even know.
Oh my god. Transformers Devastation is obviously the new Transformers game, but it's like a, like the other ones, like Fall of Cybertron and I can't remember the one previous to that.
Yeah, they're entertaining as shit.
But they're
I love them.
badass games. But this is the first one that's not trying for the future aesthetic. It has cel-shaded 80s graphics, so it looks like the 80s.
No way.
It looks like the 80s cartoon the whole way. It looks like you're literally playing an 80s cartoon, Transformers.
I see.
And
this looks amazing.
Yeah, that came out today, and I didn't realize that's out today. And then
I'll wait for reviews. I thought DBZ was going to be amazing, and it was, but it wore out its welcome quick.
Then for me, tomorrow, as we talked about on the podcast with Sarah, is that Disgaea 5 is out tomorrow, so I'll be picking that up, and I'll be streaming that like crazy, because I'm a tactical RPG freak.
And I watched that video, the first 5 minutes.
And, the first 5 minutes, though, that first 5 minute video that Kotaku put out isn't very helpful for me. Like, should I play this game? Because it's almost all the story in the trailer. And then you get, like, 2 seconds of combat. But it's, it's strategic RPG stuff. And you can grind out levels and max out abilities and then cross-change their skill sets. And it's one of those games where, like, the game has nothing to do with the story. It's all about getting all the characters and doing all the cool shit with it and going from there. So that's going to be most certainly a pickup for this guy, and that'll be happening tomorrow. The real bummer is I guess Transformers Devastation had a review embargo until tomorrow, because that's when that's when the game officially comes out, is tomorrow. Well, that's actually becoming kind of standard in video games in general. If it were a movie, I'd be worried, but we live in a world where Batman Arkham Knight gets an 87 right out of the box, and Until Dawn only gets a 79. So none of this matters. None of it matters. Reviewing,
right? I mean, you love Mad Max.
That's right, and everyone is fucking wrong about Mad Max. I'm gonna shout from the rooftops, and when the DLC comes out for that fucking game, I'm gonna buy it, and I'm gonna reinstall Mad Max. I'm gonna go right back to the Wasteland and have a good ass time. That game is fucking awesome. Do we have anything else video game related? Because I think this week's actually kind of thin for us in the video game side of things.
Just counting down the days until Halo 5.
Yeah, it's not too much. Not too much in that realm. So you're Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. guy, and I'm unfortunately not because I think the show sucks, but because I just...
Yeah, dude, you need to catch up soon. We gotta talk.
Just have not caught up. I did see a clip this week, though, where the word Secret Warriors has officially been dropped into the show, so that's pretty neat.
Stoke is high.
So I know you have this need to go out there and create these secret warriors. I'm like, very telling, Marvel. Good.
See what you did there.
Good job.
I like it.
This is some sort of superhero civil war going on right now. My God, that blind superhero is some sort of daredevil.
I do like that they used the same font from the comic.
Yeah.
That's dope. Little homage to Hickman there.
A little Hickman nod. So the Secret Wars isn't over as far as the comic books go, but the all different Marvel Universe is starting to happen. Like,
yeah, it is.
Like right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I'm personally not beat up by it, because I don't mind the idea of getting the starting point of the new Omniverse, because that's very clear for Marvel. No more multiverse. Omniverse. Everything exists in one timeline and they can affect each other. There's just different dimensions in one universe now, is the way they're trying to play it. So I don't mind that we're getting to see what happened after the Secret Wars ends, because we already knew that everything was going to be different, and we already knew what all the teams were and everything going forward. So I'm into that idea, and then still catching up at the end of Secret Wars. But I could see where people who have been reading week to week are probably kind of a little frustrated at the story taking longer to get to where it needs to be.
Yeah. It's mainly the release schedule has been super inconsistent. And, we've had 2 months now in between Secret Wars 5 and 6. Yeah. Whereas they were, 30 days apart prior to this. So, I probably am more upset than I should be, obviously, but I don't know. It bugs me that they're going to be on the shelves at the same time.
And understandably so, because I mean, you've been following to week, and you want the event to end so you can start up your next storyline. That makes sense. I mean, for me, I can see it both ways, but either way, we got a new universe starting, and Kotaku today put out a bunch of stuff, or well, not a bunch of stuff, 6 things that are going to be different in the new universe. The first thing of which saying is that multiverse is a bad word. That's a DC word. And
get it out of here.
And Omniverse is the correct word because the God Doom said Omniverse. So therefore, Omniverse is the word. And secondly, that's going to be kind of crazy, is Daredevil's going to get a sidekick. The most Batman-like character in all of Marvel's comicdom is finally getting his Robin. And the kid's name is Sam, and he has a stealth invisible suit that he has. And from his first bit of dialogue, there is 2 words in bold, so I'm going to assume that's going to be his code name, and that's Blind Spot, which seems like a perfect name for a sidekick superhero, Daredevil and Blind Spot.
Oh, man.
So I'm just going to... That's me taking a big leap, but I'm assuming this kid's name is going to be Blind Spot, because he goes invisible and all that other goofy shit. We talked about a couple weeks ago that there's 6 new Avengers teams.
Yeah.
One of those teams is, AIM, the Avengers, Intelligent Mechanics or whatever.
Yep.
And they're going to be attacked by the United States government using a Godzilla-type monster called the American Kaiju.
The American Kaiju.
Which I have to sue them because that's my nickname. My nickname is the American Kaiju. I gotta sue them. I just gotta sue them now. I'm sorry, Marvel. That's just how it is. You can't just take my nickname and then have Thunderbolt Ross go ahead and throw a giant mutant monster at someone and call it my nickname.
That is Ross, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just not okay. It's just not okay, man. Also not okay is kind of a bummer. Rogue is dying. Rogue is the patient 0 for the Terrigen Mist situation.
Damn.
She, what we don't know yet, but she flies into a giant cloud of it to save a bunch of mutants, saves their lives, and comes out of it with her crazy, absorbing matrix in her body. She absorbs the Terrigen Mist 3 times faster than everyone and is starting to flatline.
Because we all know, and by this point now, that mutants and Terrigen Mist, they don't get along so well.
Yeah, they don't mix in this new Omniverse. But it looks like she's part of Deadpool's book, so I'm going to assume that Deadpool's going to go ahead and start funneling his blood into her to try and keep her alive. And
but does that technically work? Because that's not a mutant power, is forget.
Well, technically he's
weapon.
But he's a mutate though. Him and Jamie Madrox and a couple other are mutates where Jamie Madrox is not a mutate, but Deadpool is. Mutate is the term they use for any regular human being who gets mutant powers through scientific experimentation. So technically he has mutant powers. And the
rules, man.
And if any case it works on anybody, because remember what he did to save Archangel when they were out after Archangel got shot 500 times. So, Deadpool cut off hunks of his own flesh and then fed them to Archangel so he could get the blood to heal his wounds.
Jeez.
It's actually a really, for the moments, when Deadpool is so wacky and crazy, to watch him do what he's doing, because you can see him visibly in pain because he's cutting out parts of his forearm and then feeding them to Warren, and then Warren's like, where do you keep finding all this food? And he's like, it's probably best that we don't talk about it, and you just keep resting. And you just see
I remember
see Deadpool's arms just completely hacked up, and he's growing new flesh the whole time. So it's just I probably shouldn't tell him that I'm healing him with my blood, so that way we can get him out of here. And then it looks like Tony's gonna have financial troubles because Avengers Tower is being sold. So I don't know why it's being sold. None of us do. No. But it's being sold. Let
alone which version of Manhattan this is.
Yeah. So it's being sold, and then sadly, the Vision is gonna delete his feelings. He has to do the most logical choice, and that's to delete his feelings, because he's a robot. He doesn't have a human brain. He remembers everything, and he remembers how everything worked beforehand. So you gotta delete them feelings, so that way he can
86 them.
So that way he can function in this new world and not having to deal with being the guy who knows everything, even though all those things are gone. So, sorry, Vision. We'll miss your beautiful memory. But looks like a lot of people are jumping at the idea of civil war happening again.
Yeah, somebody posted something that has since gone around the block a few times.
Well, it's
a postcard.
It's a beautiful postcard that is teasing a spring 2016 event, which is right in time for a movie that shares the same name to come out. The players in this Civil War 2 are going to be totally different, with the exception of one side still being Tony, and the other side being
Falcon Cap.
Yeah. Fal Captain America.
Fal Captain.
Fal Captain America. But I don't know if I want to. You know what? I'll go ahead and put it out here right now.
Yeah, do it. Put it out there.
I don't think that this is the announcement of an event. I think this is an announcement of a one-shot.
Sure.
Is what I think. It's just that, like, you would feel like they would go bigger with their announcement of an event of that scale than just postcards to random comic retailers.
I don't think they're doing it. They just finished one in Secret Wars, and that one is awesome. So, it would be hard to top the Civil War going on.
Also, I mean, does anyone really want to see Tony's Tea Party versus, Falcon and like the social justice movement? Because that's kind of what they'd have to do. They'd have to do something like that. And they didn't handle particularly well the very first time around. They didn't handle the sides of the story very well the first time. So, I don't know. I don't think a Civil War 2 is a good idea. Plus, like you said, in Secret Wars they did another one. So,
yeah.
I don't want a Civil War like every 3 years. I don't want them to like have the superheroes have no reason to fight every 3 years for just whatever reason that they come up with. I don't know.
Who knows what it's really for?
Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't even be surprised if that's what happens for, like, yep, we're going to Civil War all over again because that shit makes the monies. It's like, they are right. It does make the monies. But
let's hope not.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hope they don't do it. To swing
these guys.
Yeah, just thinking about it, like we both just gonna die.
I know, it's like finally hitting.
Just kind of like deflate out and just like no,
please.
What else? Damage Control getting a TV show. Of all the things in the world, it's just like, I mean, I can't even bring myself to lie about it. I'm so uninterested in the idea of that as a show. Well, I mean, it's like a comedy about the people who clean up after superheroes does not sound awesome to me. I could be wrong. It just sounds kind of dumb. It sounds like an idea that they would have had in 2005 is what it sounds like. It would be really great. These superhero movies and shit get destroyed. Who the guys who fucking move all the cement and all the cars and things, and they're like friends and stuff, and it's like a kind of a sitcom thing. It's like, you're fired. You're fucking fired. Get out of here. Not at ABC, though. The House of Mouse is like, yup, anything Marvel related we'll put on TV. We don't fucking care.
Ship it.
Steven Spielberg said this shit's going the way of the Western. Put everything on TV that we got. We've only got about 25 more years before this shit's not important anymore.
Damn.
Which, that is an amazing... We didn't talk about that from Kevin Feige, though. Kevin Feige's response to the Steven Spielberg thing was awesome. And I think it's probably the best one of the bunch, where it's like, are superheroes going to go the way of the Western? Kevin Feige sits down and goes, maybe, I don't know. There've only been, 8 years of superhero movies, really, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There have been other ones before that. It's like, they made Westerns and Western TV shows from, 1910 to 1970. That's 60 years. He's like, I'll be dead before these things stop being popular. With that alone, I was like, wow, that actually is a really good response to that particular statement of it's going to go the way of the Western. There's too many of them. And it's just yeah, I don't think so. So I don't know if anyone agrees or disagrees with Kevin Feige's kind of...
Well, I definitely disagree with him if he said 1910.
Well, yeah. Right.
But I get his point.
Right, exactly. Clearly they've been around a long ass time. Probably some hyperbole there, but either way,
yeah,
lots of time to go. So much so that we're getting a fucking Damage Control TV show. That's how popular they are. We're getting that fucking TV show, and I can't, man. Unless it's the cast of Scrubs is the people who are on Damage Control is the only way I'm going to watch it.
That's what I immediately kind of thought of, and then along with the ability to plug in, suggestions, different things from the universe.
Right.
But.
So, yeah. Damage Control!
Damage Control on the Damage Control.
Damage Control. That's the theme song. It says Damage Control, Damage Control, Damage Control.
Sounds like something from Adult Swim.
Damage Control.
Dude, speaking of funny shit, your uncensored videos, oh my god, or censored.
Thanks, man. Those are super dumb, but I like making them.
Super hilarious if you use your imagination.
Yeah, I think my favorite of the two that I posted this week, we'll include the links to those in the in our Medium posts, which,
yeah, we will.
If we're over here patting each other on the back about doing a good job, fucking awesome recap for all of the things we talked about. If you listen to this podcast, you should be looking at our Medium page for all of this stuff, because
gonna put together a little compendium every week,
because then you can follow along and see all the links and all the cool ass stuff and listen to the podcast if you want, and just Reach just puts it together with an easy scroll, and you can get all the information, and you can even see all that stuff and still give us our proper listening tos on the SoundCloud, because it's like magic. So there. But since we both did such a good job making the censored videos and making the Medium page, everyone who listens to this podcast should put together a Kickstarter to buy Reed and I both Iron Man mini fridges. They hold 3 cans of soda or pop if you're from where we're from. I'm slowly being transformed into a Californian.
Yeah, it's soda, man. Cali got me.
So, but it's an Iron Man head that's a mini fridge that can hold a 6-pack of pop. Come on!
That's cool.
It's awesome.
That's cool.
That's a pretty sweet idea. Pretty fucking sweet. Pretty fucking sweet, though. I'll tell you what I don't think is very sweet. That picture of Jay Garrick, that promo picture makes him look like fucking King Turbo Dork McLoser. That picture is so dumb. But him 3/4, it's coming soon, the life-size 3D printed bust of Jay Garrick for all of you dorks who want golden era comic book statues. That picture looks so dumb. He looks like was it John Glover from Gremlins 2 without his beard.
John Glover.
He looks like a...
Oh, yeah.
his scarlet leather outfit looks like a shittier X-Men outfit from the 2000 X-Men movies.
Whoa, man, with the scarlet leather. That was, remember Star-Lord rocked something similar, and he also had some weird headwear.
Yeah, but Star-Lord was fucking cool across the board. Jay Garrick looks like he's wearing a half pith helmet, half World War I era Allied helmet, and he's wearing like,
come on, man,
scarlet bondage gear with,
you know, every DC character looks like they're straight out of 1920.
Oh, dude, he also has got like clearly party in the back and then just business on top. This Flash looks like a total loser. Like, if this guy came, like, I love it. I love that they're bringing in a golden era Flash, but I just don't like this picture. I don't like this picture.
Get it out of my face.
Yeah, fucking hate it. Get it out of here, because I don't like it. And that's that shit I don't like.
Yeah, that is that shit you don't like.
Don't like.
Some more shit you don't like is the idea of MGM wanting to make another Cabin in the Woods.
Not a sequel, though, man. Make a fucking prequel. Like,
well, did they say sequel, though?
I mean, it doesn't matter. Prequels are still technically a sequel because it's, you know, it's the next one in line. They just happened before it. So, like, you know, it's the semantics.
If we're looking at time linearly.
Semantics, man. Semantics. If they're going to make another Cabin in the Woods, I want to see a story from beforehand. I don't want to see a story afterwards, because I don't want to see giant people smash around on Earth because the redheaded girl wouldn't kill the stoner. Spoiler alert. But I'll tell you what I do like.
Well, when you put it like that.
I love that redheaded chick.
It's yeah.
Like, I don't know her name. Like, I feel like it's such a fucking goony asshole, because I'm like, oh, that redhead chick's so hot. I'm just like lizard braining over here, because I'm just like, every time I think about it, I'm like, God, she's so pretty. Like, good job, dude. You've just lizard brained your way all the way to the top of being a piece of crap, because you're just evaluating her on how she looks, because, you know, it's not the 40s anymore, Mr. Dunn. It's not the 40s anymore. Or you know, I guess given how people are trying to take down Planned Parenthood and not respect people of color, maybe it is the 40s still.
Right.
I don't know. I just don't know anymore, Reej. I'm gonna go look at her.
What year is it?
I'm gonna go look now, because I feel like an asshole for not knowing her name. Because she's super pretty and super talented, because she crushes it in that movie. Kristen Connolly.
Oh, there you go.
Kristen Connolly, she crushed it in The Cabin in the Woods. Apparently she's in The Happening, which that's too bad for her. But she's very, very good in Cabin in the Woods. To get onto the topic of it, I don't like the idea of the world is being ripped up by the old gods, because like arms are popping up everywhere and smashing shit, and people are going berserk and wild, and like these monsters are coming, and I just don't feel like, I feel like that end game is a very good story of like, maybe mankind should die. Like, I like that as like it as its bookend of like, look what we've done to the place, maybe we should go. But I like the idea of, if we go back, we can get even younger stories about the control room team and Amy Acker's character and like all these different people who are involved there, because the control room is half the fun in the movie, is like watching them, where it's just like when the sex scene's happening and everyone's like, oh man, it's like, get out of here, you guys, that's
replacing beds.
Like, that's not what this is for. And you're like, all this, and like I bet on zombies too. Oh, see, no, you bet on zombies, but maintenance bet on zombie redneck murder family. That's like an elephant and an elephant seal. They're very different things. Better luck next year. So
I just want to see, all of the boxes. How did we get to that point?
Yeah, I mean, a Cabin in the Woods about like a prequel to Cabin in the Woods. I'll tell you what. A Netflix series about Cabin in the Woods, about the people who wrangle the fucking monsters.
Yes,
is a show that I would watch.
Fucking right.
I would be all in for a 24 episode season about them wrangling monsters, like an X-Files of monster hunters, or Ghost Hunters, but it doesn't suck.
Yep. And here's how we both win on the prequel. Is you started out at the end, and I get to see the gods, at least what they look like, and them fucking up the world, and then you hit the quick rewind all the way back to the beginning. Mm-hmm. So you just give me like 10-15 minutes of destruction porn.
A little taste.
Yep.
So I'm okay with that. I'm in.
All right.
I'm in on that as an idea. I don't want a giant people smashing up the Earth. The movie.
Yeah, we don't need that. We got enough of that. 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. We did, and Guillermo del Toro got told that he was dumb for making it.
He's awesome. My hat's off to you, Guillermo.
Oh, Guillermo. Speaking of hats off, my hat's off to the crew who's going to remake Flatliners. Come on. That's so tight. Flatliners is like one of my favorites.
Bravo.
And instead of Kevin Bacon, we're going to get Ellen Page, and she's awesome in everything. From her,
she is.
From her completely diminished role as Shadowcat, where Fox fucked up getting her story straight, all the way to her in Hard Candy, where she's like a 14-year-old girl who tortures the shit out of Night Owl for being a pervo. And that, I'm all for Ellen Page being in any movie, really. She kind of kicks ass in just about everything. Even in Super, she's great in Super as well.
I was just gonna say she's pretty kick-ass in Super.
Yeah, it's pretty. That shit hit me like a ton of bricks in Super, by the way. And we'll just leave it as that shit hit me like a ton of bricks in Super.
Yep. Great film.
Yeah.
Just a great piece of film.
I mean, that James Gunn guy is gonna do something great one day.
Yeah. Oh, that's a yeah.
One day he'll get to make something great. Maybe he'll get to make some kind of Universal Champions type movie where like a team comes together unlikely and protects a place from a destructive force.
Yeah, some sort of space opera.
Yeah, like a
kind of
like a unified Universal Soldiers is what we'll call it. They could probably work on a better name. Maybe there's a better rhyming two similar letter words for it. But we'll see.
Stop it.
Oh boy. Guardians of the Galaxy. And for all the dumb people out there who are the reason we got Loki cut from Avengers 2, you guys suck. You guys fucking suck, dude. Come on.
Pretty much.
Like, hearing
what the hell's wrong with you?
Hearing Tom Hiddleston talk about his role in the Thor dream sequence sounds badass, and I really would have liked to have that, because more Loki is better than less Loki, as we all know. For everyone out there who hasn't read the story yet, in an interview, Tom Hiddleston was asked about him filming his scenes for Thor for Avengers 2 and being cut, and apparently a test audience thought that Loki was manipulating Ultron and not that he was a part of Thor's hallucination, and that the whole thing was just Loki manipulating the events again, despite the fact that it's clearly in a dream sequence and those people clearly being morons.
Ugh.
So
see, this is what you get when you test movies on non-comic book fans.
Yeah. And so Loki got cut out of it, and that's the end of that.
Did you catch his comments a couple weeks ago for Crimson Peak, I think, talking about playing the same character over and over and over?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like he's kind of done. He doesn't really... Sounds like he really isn't...
But dude, that's in total contrast to his appearance at SDCC 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean...
That shit was amazing.
I think the thing is
that was him eating that up.
I mean, here's how I feel about when artists say shit like that. Because Robert Downey Jr. said the exact same thing about being Tony Stark, and then he changed his mind. And I feel like a lot of that stuff is plays for money, for one. And then for two, I think there is a time where it's like, look, I totally want to play someone else for a while. And I could see where it's like, if you're living in a character for so long. But Tom Hiddleston does a lot of work, and I think he loves being Loki. I just don't think that he wants to be a secondary or tertiary character in Thor's story. And I think that's fair, because him in the Dark World was kind of like, oh, Loki's also here, you know?
Yeah.
And it ended with Loki in a really good position. But even looking at how Thor Ragnarok's going to unfold, it doesn't seem like Loki would be the villain or a major focus on it. He would end up falling into that kind of secondary role again. And I think that's where he's kind of like, look, people like Loki as much as they like Thor or Cap or any of the people in the universe. And that's a fair thing to say, because almost every review you see is like, oh, Marvel with their one-dimensional villains, with the exception of Loki because he's fucking awesome. And, you know, like, they do it every time when they kind of criticize how Marvel's villains work. And then they always bring up how great Loki is, because Loki is a fucking great character. And I can understand that angle for Tom Hiddleston, where he's like, look, I want to be treated as important as everybody else. I know I'm a bad guy, but at the same time, I don't see why we don't have a Loki movie coming. Instead of Thor 3, we should just get a Loki 1.
Yeah.
You know, set...
Well, dude, I've mentioned it before. Thor, Avengers, Thor 2, awesome Loki trilogy.
Right. It's a good...
Awesome
Loki trilogy. Loki set of stories. But I can understand his statements on some of it. I don't think he means them. I think he also... It's another one of those things, too. Like, remember how we were...
It's all premeditated.
Well, and we're also saying with, like, the Chris Pratt thing, it's like he's been doing these press junkets, and what happens? He wants to promote Crimson Peak, but all he ever gets asked about is when's Loki coming back. You know? So it's just like, he's like, I don't have any control over that. They write the character. Because, I mean, he's booked for, what, like 8 films? He has one of the huge original Marvel contracts, right? He has one of those...
I think so.
Because back then they were all 9. Like, you know, they weren't, like, 4 pictures. They were all, like, 9. So, like, he has one of the, like, the huge ones. So even if he didn't want to come back, he's got to come back. Same way Natalie Portman had to come back. And subsequently has been banished ever since. But... You know, I do think it's probably one of those moments where he's like, hey, please stop asking me questions about a movie I have no control over. It's like, Avengers 2 is great. I'm not in it. Like, and I don't know what my character's doing. I don't know any of that shit. Leave me alone. Do you want to know what my character's doing in Crimson Peak? Because Crimson Peak's a really cool movie that I'm in that's coming out in a few weeks.
And that's what I'm promoting right now. You see the backdrop, fucker?
Yeah, it's like, we're at the press junket for the movie I'm in. And I know Marvel's red hot, and their Marvel movies are going the way of the Western, but not Batman and Superman.
Going the way of the Western.
The Western, but not that Batman or that Superman. They're cultural icons. Fuck you, Zachary Snyder.
They transcend the medium, you see?
Oh. But holding on like the Thor stuff.
Yep.
Can you imagine?
I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that name.
Oh, it's Taiki Waititi. Taiki Waititi is,
and he did something Shadows.
Oh, was it We Are What We Do in the Dark or whatever it is? The mockumentary about vampires, which is a great movie. But I will always know him as the directing force behind Flight of the Conchords.
There you go.
So I'm imagining Thor with the like, you and me. And a Ragnarok in the nude. Who can do? Just like all this like goofy singing, and then having like Rhys Darby, Rhys Darby come in and just like, now Thor, the tech support is here. Tech support. Just like really awkward, fucking weird Thor comedy. Thor Ragnarok should just be Thor stuck in New Zealand.
Damn.
With no powers. Basically remake the first Thor, but he's in New Zealand. That's my shitty New Zealand accent of Rhys Darby.
That is honestly a Marvel movie I would not watch.
Oh, fuck you. You'd see it. You'd see it.
Fuck you. You'd see it. You'd like it.
You'd go. You'd go, goddammit. Thor, Trapped in New Zealand, written by Adam Dunn.
Man. But we got no script, do we?
Nothing. Not a single thing. Not a single thing yet. You got a title. You got a title. That's as good as a script in most places.
How much do you think of what played into Age of Ultron will affect Ragnarok?
Well, I don't think anything on Earth is going to affect it. I think...
No, not that. What was in Thor's vision?
Well, I think Thanos is going to show up. I think what's going to happen is... Was it, Ifrit or whatever the... Surtur, yeah. That's what it is. I think Surtur is going to show up, and Thor's going to be so busy fighting Surtur that Thanos is going to show up, and he's going to be like, hey, look, I'm going to go into your vault and take that Tesseract. Stop. And then Loki's going to be like, as Odin, they're going to be like, Odin, stand up to him. And then Thanos is going to out Loki right there and be like, that's not Odin. That's the little pissy crybaby one.
Damn.
And that's going to be the big end of it, is that Loki...
He's going to grab the other gauntlet, though.
Well, I mean, I don't think that... I mean, sure, but only one of them has Infinity Stones in it. So he may grab the other gauntlet, but I think that gauntlet that's in Odin's vault was originally before they truly had a plan in place for the the Infinity Stones and having an Infinity War, and they just did that to be, you know, to be cool. Like, oh, you see the Infinity Gauntlet? It's in there. The same way that's like in Incredible Hulk.
Don't you say that, Adam?
In the same way that
don't you say that?
In the same way that seeing Cap in the ice in Incredible Hulk is like, did you see Cap? He's in there. He's in the ice. You see the shield. It's awesome.
Wait, what?
In the Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton, you can see Captain America on the ice in one of the shots.
Shut up.
You see a shield, and
I didn't catch this?
Oh, man, you need to go back.
Oh, man. Mm-hmm. For shame.
For shame, indeed. But yeah, I think it's just... Because also in that treasure vault is the fucking Eye of Agamotto, and why would that be on...
Yep, that is a fact.
And why would that be on Asgard? Like, that's just comic book... That's just some art director flexing their comic nerd muscle and be like, oh yeah, we're putting the Eye of Agamotto in there too. So I don't think that that's actually there. I think that was just kind of a fuck around kind of thing that they did. But I do think the Tesseract's there.
Well, but Feige, he confirmed.
Yeah, but he said that. He's
there
like,
are two.
I mean, there's another...
He kind of has to.
Yeah, it's like, there's a second gauntlet, but that's like such a, like... That is such a pithy, fucking dumb answer. It's like, oh, I mean, you know, gauntlets, man, they come in pairs. And it's just like, shut up. You didn't have a plan for that. Like, you know for a fact you didn't fucking have a plan for it. Like, that isn't... It really, the plan is that the gems are all aligned in it and those gloves were made specifically for that? No, that's not how it works. Thanos had that one glove made so he could put the fucking stones in it. It wasn't like they made, like, oh yeah, these Infinity Gauntlets were made beforehand, and only... If that were the case, then there would be 12 Infinity Stones and not 6 of them. So that way you could have them all over the fucking hands and be all super cool. They did it...
Blang blang.
Just for fun. And they just refuse to admit that they did it for fun. Which is, I guess, okay, or whatever. But, you know, so it goes.
So it goes.
Let's see. What was it, George Miller? George Miller? Everyone knows
that
George.
Guy.
Everyone knows George Miller and they love him because, you know, Shiny and Chrome, Valhalla, all that stuff. 2 more Mad Max movies are coming because of the success that was the Fury Road. Because
witness it.
oh, what a lovely day for many. And, you know, actually for me it's becoming oh, what a lovely day because that fucking video game has made me like the movie more, which is kind of funny. But we talked about this, I actually think, weeks ago, and they're like, oh yeah, 2 potential things. But now he's actually talked about it, saying that he has the 2 scripts. But one is going to be called The Wasteland, which follows Max, and one called Furiosa that follows Furiosa. And I'm assuming that they're doing this because Furiosa is a really popular character, and people are like, rah, 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 there's a strong...
Is she ever.
Rah, 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 strong female character, which is good, because there's very few of those leading a movie. And then you got the other camp going, why was a movie called Mad Max if Mad Max was just kind of in it? And Furiosa. So basically just writing a script and it's like Mad Max gets to have his movie and Furiosa gets to have her movie and everyone gets to be super happy and so on and so forth and all this other goofy shit. But
well, at least he recognized that. I can't imagine a movie that is titled something and doesn't have a lot of the character in it. Dark Knight Returns. Dark Knight Returns.
It's been 8 years. It's been 8 years since he's been Batman or whatever the fuck it was. But, so that, he says that he doesn't know which one they're going to want to make first, but he has all intentions of making both of them. But he's not making any Mad Max movie next. He's having a Joss Whedon moment because he's burned the fuck out from making Mad Max Fury Road.
Dude, I would be too if I made that movie.
So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. A movie took starting and stopping, took him 3 years to make that fucker. And that's the shooting phase. Like, not even the scripting phase. Just the shooting phase took 3 years to do. So, I can see where he's like, nope, I'm making a small movie that I can finish in 6 weeks and just kind of chill on telling a story and not fucking have this thing be the craziest, biggest thing of my entire life. So that all makes perfect sense there.
Yep.
For George Miller. Even though I didn't like Mad Max very much when I first saw it, I'm all for more Mad Max. I'm not against the idea.
Yeah. I gotta see it in black and white.
Oh, the Fury Road?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he intended it in black and white. It's always, though, man, those movies that are supposed to be intended in black and white always get the decision by the studio at the end because nobody was going to go see movies in black and white. Like The Mist,
Right.
Frank Darabont's The Mist is supposed to be in black and white, and the studio's like, nobody's going to go see it. Nobody went and saw it anyways. But it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because The Mist was fucking awesome. But it's even better in black and white. If you can get the Blu-ray, you can actually watch it in black and white. Yeah, the black and white edition's included on the Blu-ray.
I have to watch that. I love that flick.
Yeah, all the visual effects look way better because they were intended to be in black and white.
I just wish there was another one. I want to know. I just want to know.
You want the follow-up of like after the mist clears
or the other side of it,
or like what's on the other side of the portal that they opened?
The portal, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that could be cool.
What's the story behind the portal? Because that's where my mind goes. What the
for me, my mind doesn't go there at all. It's super weird. I mean, just different needs in that story for the two of us. But for me, it was a story about like the human condition and what human beings do when faced with adversity.
I totally got that. But that shit's crazy. What goes on in that grocery store?
So for me, I never thought about the portal at all. The portal was kind of just like a MacGuffin where it's just like the portal opened and that's where all the smoke came from and there's shit in the smoke.
I was losing my mind over that.
So, but I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a story of how they actually close it.
Brontosaurus sized.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty sweet, actually. I'm probably gonna end up having to watch The Mist like tonight now. A couple of quick ones though, because I think we're nearing the end of our. We write down all these things that we want to talk about with you guys, and then we present them in a conversational manner as if we didn't prepare them. I made myself laugh, which makes me an asshole. Speaking of assholes, though, Seth Grahame-Smith is going to be directing The Flash. If you don't know who Seth Grahame-Smith is, that's because you don't read books, you dummy.
Yeah, I was thoroughly educated on that prior to the podcast.
Seth Grahame-Smith is the dude who wrote Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. It's going to be his first time directing, but he's writing like he's written so many things and been a consulting writer on a lot of stuff. So, of course, after you've been a writer for long enough in Hollywood, you just get to direct a movie, which is how it goes. No jealousy or anything like that, because I would want to direct the Flash movie, especially considering how fucking good the Flash TV show is. So there's a lot of pressure on failing there for him.
Yeah, that's the only thing that bugs me about these DC movies is they have an entire TV universe of actors that are just killing it as their characters, and they're going to cast an entirely different actor to play them in the cinematic universe.
Well, supposedly the way that they want to, that DC is executives that are Warner Brothers has referred to as like, look, DC is very strong on the idea of a multiverse, and these TV characters can cross over and meet the film characters later.
Off.
So apparently this is their way of saying the multiverse is very real and very, very happening right now, which is why
I bet the 90s Flash can come make an appearance too.
Be pretty awesome considering 90s
and be his dad at the same time.
Yeah, considering 90s Flash is this Flash's dad. Be pretty sweet.
Shut up, executives. Just do your job. Leave the writing to the writers.
So what you're saying is you're not into this idea?
The multiverse idea? No, not at all.
Okay, all right. I'm not really into it either. I just think it's I thought it was fun bullshit, really. It's just like,
it's totally, it's just writing it off. Just like, well, here's the scapegoat. Take it.
Any type of criticism, multiverse. I think Donald Trump would do that. And they're just like, Donald Trump, you said that you're going to fix America.
Multiverse?
How are you going to do that? You're a loser. I'm going to do it with a multiverse. Next question, loser. Then they just move on to the next thing, and his hair is flapping around like a champion. But so yeah, that's I wouldn't want to direct a Flash movie. So all the power in the world to you, Seth Grahame-Smith. You funny writer. You badass you. And then our last little tidbit of the day is that Sony is obsessed with making a universe that works. They want a universe so bad.
So very badly.
They want a universe so bad, and they couldn't get it right with Spider-Man, so they had to ask Marvel to do it, since as of right now, Marvel's the only one who knows how to build a universe. We'll see how DC does later. But they're like, wait a minute, we own other shit. We own other shit that could totally be shit in a movie. So we got, the Ghostbusters reboot coming, the Girl Power Ghostbusters reboot, which I think looks awesome. A lot of people are stupid and think it doesn't look good. But
Who doesn't think? Please tell me.
Well, there's all sorts of
I'll have words.
all sorts of gentlemen out there who they're not.
Oh, those guys.
They're not
those guys.
Hey, they're not sexist. They just think it should be kept pure.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But on top of that, the Ghostbusters have a bunch of movies in the one universe coming out. You've got Paul Feig's Girl Power Ghostbusters, which looks great. You've got the Russo brothers, who are crushing the game, developing a all-male version of the Ghostbusters with supposedly, at the moment, Channing Tatum, Chris Pratt, and Jonah Hill, which sounds great. That sounds great too. And then you've got Ivan Reitman, who produced the original Ghostbusters movies 1 and 2, who's going to be coming out with an feature-length animated Ghostbusters, not based on the cartoon, but based on the properties in this new universe, and then they're all going to tie together to create a Ghostbustin' universe. Because, as we all know, bustin' makes us feel good. Duh. Should be the title for this episode is Bustin' Makes Us Feel Good. Duh. And then so yeah, that's a thing that's happening. How do you feel about 3 Ghostbusters movies in the span of 5 years after we had to wait 20 years after the second one to even get one more Ghostbusters movie?
Well, when you put it like that, I don't know, 5 years is enough time to spread them out. It's okay. I'm good with it. I miss Ghostbusters.
Hey, we all miss Ghostbusters. Why do you think that we all...
I really miss Ghostbusters. Every time I hear... what's the song they play in the Statue of Liberty? Whatever that song is. It's the only scene that's...
keeps lifting me higher.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
Every time. That's immediately what go to my head. Bill Murray in the crown of the Statue of Liberty.
She's tough. She can handle it. She's a harbor chick.
God.
So
yeah, I'm fine with it, man. More Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I'm super okay with it too. They're gonna be like, yeah, there's a brand new Ghostbusters coming out. I'm like, oh great, who's gonna be in it? And they're like, Andy Milonakis is playing every role. And I was like, all right,
okay,
fine. If this is what it takes for me to get more Ghostbusters, I guess I'm just gonna deal with it.
I'll take it.
I mean, that's a big win for Andy Milonakis. I thought that kid's career was dead.
Huge win.
But apparently,
is he a kid? I heard he's 30.
He's a man. But I'm saying kid the same way that it's like, come on now, kid.
Sure.
Like kid and play type kid.
Oh, like word.
Like a house kid, like a house party thing, like a pajama jammy jam kind of deal.
Building forts. There's
a movie that should be rebooted. Where's my house party reboot? Actually, please don't reboot House Party. House Party's so good on its own.
I was just gonna say, man, you can't. Enough of the reboots.
Like Sony's gonna be like, did you hear that? Some random guy on some fucking podcast that we should remake House Party. Let's do it. He also had some very good ideas of on a Ghostbusters movie with Andy Milonakis in it. Let's make that too. And then
the Spectre movie.
Yeah, except for Warner Brothers wouldn't make that Spectre movie. That's just too cool. They'd make a TV show out of it and then cancel it after its ratings were only pretty good. Constantine. That's NBC though. NBC is the dumb ones there. It's not Warner Brothers' fault. It's NBC because they're stupid. They're just so stupid. But yeah, that's the end of the rainbow for us as far as topics this week. But as always, if you listen to the show, which you're clearly doing right now because you're hearing us talk to you, and you like the show, we're on iTunes as the Best Flarking Podcast. If you would do us a huge favor and rate us and review us, but of course the only acceptable rating is 5, and the only acceptable review is glowing. So you're going to have to do a glowing review and a 5-star rating because we said so. That's just the law. And then we're also on SoundCloud, also as the Best Flarking Podcast, and you can go there and you can hit all sorts of icons that look like rewinding a tape and like plus signs, and I don't know what they do because I don't know how to SoundCloud very well. So just hit those things because I'm assuming they're like the retweet and the like button.
Yeah.
But just do that. We're on Stitcher. as the best Flarking podcast, surprisingly. If you go on Stitcher, I don't know any of what Stitcher does, but it makes us money somehow, magically. So listen to us on Stitcher too. Like, listen to every episode of the podcast 3 times to really soak it in. Like, this shit is like some serious head trip stuff. Like, you won't get all the things we're talking about unless you listen to it 3 times in 3 different mediums. But if you're really, really trying to get all of it, you should listen to it a 4th time on our YouTube, and then you'll probably get all of it for sure. Which is our Evil Ice Cream Pictures is where all of our video content goes, and that's all on there. Also, if you use Medium, there'll be a Medium link posted to our Facebook page and to our Twitter account, which is at MotherFlarker, which is also what we are on Vine and on Instagram. Fucking A, man, there are so many social media things for us.
So many.
We're on every social media platform. We're on Friendster.
Yeah.
We're on fucking MySpace. We're on fucking
and the
whatever.
Awesomeness of search engine optimization allows us to just say, hey, if you go to Google and type in the best Flarking podcast, you're bound to find us.
You're bound to find one of our 800 gajillion places we have to fucking be. So that's the spiel. That's the show. I've been Dunners to Some this entire time.
Well, and I've been Reg along with you being Dunners.
Yeah, well, I mean, but we're all Dunners to Some. Like, you know, kind of like
Dunners. I'm
but it's
I'm
like
Reg,
but like kind of like a symbiosis. But like you're Reg, I'm Dunners, but we're Dunners. Like the way Venom is like a we.
Like we are Groot?
Yeah, kind of like I've bonded with all of you and then put you inside of a giant wicker ball to save you all from like blowing up ship.
See,
so like
it's so much easier to understand with visuals.
Yeah, so to break it down, you're Reg, I'm Dunners. All of us together are Dunners, but
all of us.
Yeah, but we
are
the best Flarking podcast.